friends, welcome to Ray Academy and welcome to my new live class. And in this class, friends, we are going to discuss weekly current affairs, and this is third week of January 2022, and this class is presented by me. So first of all, friends, in this class, what will I cover? I will cover the topics for the mains and also the topics for the prelims. So first of all, I will try to cover the topics for the mains. So I will start with solving migrant working housing crisis, because migrant is in frequent news, and maybe you may get question in upcoming years in various state civil services or also UPSC. And then after that, I will discuss the act now, recast the selection process of election commissions in India. And this is in frequent news. And then reaping India's demographic dividend. This is very, very important topic. And after that, we'll discuss the seventh schedule affecting the delivery of public goods. That means the seventh schedule. We'll discuss the seventh schedule. And then how migrant is a challenge to internal security. We'll have to know how migrant is a challenge for internal security. Okay. And after that, friends, I will try to cover telecom sector and its issues, and combating climate change with a sustainable food system, and potential climate change hotspot mapped for the first time, and in the last for the main topic, virtual campaigning in election and its outcome. Okay. So now let's start our discussion with the first topic, and the first topic is related to migrants. So we'll have to keep in the mind. Okay. And the topic is solving migrant workers housing crisis. What? Solving migrant workers housing crisis. So please keep in the mind, this is very, very important. And this topic is related to what? Society. This topic is related to society. Okay. So what is the context we should know? And friends, urbanization and the growth of cities in India have been accompanied by pressure on basic infrastructure services like housing, sanitation, and health. And migrant workers are living in precarious condition, and this make them the worst sufferer in segment. So basically, we can say that due to urbanization, okay, the migrants numbers are increasing in India, and migrants are living under, you can say, the worst condition, and this makes them the worst sufferer in the urbanization or in the segment. So what is the background? We should know the background. Basically, friends, the mass exodus of migrant workers from cities after the sudden announcement of a nationwide lockdown to contain the spread of the coronavirus has amplified the housing crisis for migrant workers in cities. Okay, housing crisis for migrant worker in cities. Please keep in the mind. So we can say ki after the you can say ki, in a lockdown, after the lockdown, migrant worker faces crisis related to housing. Okay, housing crisis. What? Housing crisis. And this is also important, friend. Is important, friend. Key migrant workers forced to leave due to their inability to pay rent for rooms after losing their jobs. So basically, migrant workers are not able to pay. Okay, not able to pay, able to pay a rent, not able to pay a rent. Okay, why? So first of all, for rooms they are losing their jobs, and then despite the nationwide lockdown, in the absence of a social protection and adequate state support, migrant workers felt compelled to leave cities to return to their villages, even though they did not have any means of transport. उनके पास कोई आपके ट्रांसपोर्ट का मीन्स ही नहीं था. आप लोगों ने भी देखा होगा, वो लोग पैदल ही चल पड़े थे. क्या थे? उनके पास ट्रांसपोर्ट के लिए कुछ था ही नहीं थी. लॉकडाउन हो गया था, पैदल ही चल पड़े थे. मूवी भी उसके ऊपर बना हुआ है ना, आप लोगों ने भी देखा होगा. एंड देन जो है उसके बाद अगर आप आगे बढ़ते हो तो हम लोग ये भी कह सकते हैं कि मोस्ट ऑफ देम migrant laborers travel hundreds of kilometers on foot and via other precarious modes, and often at a great risk to their lives just to reach home. And the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the poor housing condition of the urban poor migrant workers. So there is a dire need of a sound policy framework that must take into account the status of human rights, uh, properties rights and socio-economic development in India. So basically एक ऐसे पॉलिसी की जरूरत है जहां पर आपके कह सकते हैं कि आपका जो माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स हो उसके जो चैलेंजेस है उसको भी क्या किया जाए, देखा जाए, उनके लिए भी बेटर फैसिलिटी जो है वो प्रोवाइड आपका किया जाए एंड उनको भी हाउसिंग फैसिलिटी जो है मिल सके. So what is the analysis portion of this topic? So basically friends, we'll have to know urban population and migrant workers. Let's discuss the urban population and migrant workers. You can see here कि 2011 census of India reveals that the urban population of the country stood at 31.16%, and when there are about 4.6 lakh homeless families and a total population of 17.73 lakh is without any roof over their heads. And Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh are the two states with an acute housing crisis. Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. What? Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. So what are the modes of employment for migrant workers? We should know. So basically friends, migrant workers के जो काम होते हैं कहाँ कहाँ होता है आप देखोगे. बेसिकली अगर आप सिटी की बात करते हो, मेगा सिटीज की अगर आप बात करते हो, तो यू कैन इजिली सी कि इन कंस्ट्रक्शन, बेसिकली आप देखोगे कंस्ट्रक्शन में उनके काम होते हैं, कैजुअल वर्क्स होते हैं, डोमेस्टिक वर्क होता है, और भी इनफॉर्मल एक्टिविटीज. इनफॉर्मल एक्टिविटीज मीन्स नॉट रजिस्टर्ड विथ गवर्नमेंट्स. ओके, एंड वी शुड ऑल्सो नो दैट what are the terms. That means in India the term migrant workers generally refers to interstate labor migrants, interstate labor migrants who move from one part of the country to another, okay, for employment. That means the movement of people for employment from one city to another city, from rural area to urban area. So what are the problems of urban areas? We should know. Anyone, can you tell me what are the problems of urban areas? Anyone?
So, pardon, sir, can you please come again?
Yeah, what are the problems related to urban areas? Yeah, what are the challenges?
Air pollution.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so now I'm going to discuss. So please keep in the mind, okay, first of all, friends, there are various challenges, okay, or problems related to urban areas. So first is over urbanization. First is over urbanization. Yeah, Pragya, please tell me.
Sir, actually we do have like a diversity, if you are talking about the urban area, like we are facing like the access to that identity documentations and the socials and political exclusion, and also the housing and exploitations, we can say, and different diversity of culture, like a language, and also like a different kind of like social issues also there.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so now I'm going to discuss one by one. Please keep in the mind, okay, first of all, the problems related to urban area is over urbanization. Okay. Second, inadequate housing. Then unsafe and insufficient water supply. Then inefficient and inadequate transport and pollution. So these are the major problems of urban areas. So please keep in the mind. Now we should know okay, what are the steps taken by the government in the area of urban housing. We should know about the, you can say, okay, government steps. So now I'm going to discuss about the scheme. So please keep in the mind. So first, and the first is, friend, this is very, very important, smart cities mission. Smart cities mission. You'll have to complete. Okay. Smart cities mission. And friends, what is a smart cities mission? So the smart cities initiative was launched in June 2015. And the Smart Cities Mission identify 100 cities covering 21% of India's urban population. Covering 21% of India's urban population. For a transformation in 4 rounds starting from January 2016. And some of the core infrastructure elements in a smart city include proper water supply, assured electricity supply, sanitation, and affordable housing, especially for the poor. And smart city is an urban region that is highly advanced in terms of urban infrastructure, sustainable real estates, high density of communication network, and a wider market. So पहला जो स्टेप लिया गया आपको अर्बन हाउसिंग को दूर करने के लिए, that is स्मार्ट सिटीज मिशन. एंड देन सेकंड इज अमृत मिशन. द सेकंड जो है वो है आपका अमृत मिशन. अमृत मिशन, प्लीज कीप इन द माइंड. जो अमृत मिशन स्टैंड्स फॉर अटल मिशन फॉर रिजुनोवेशन एंड अर्बन ट्रांसफॉर्म. इट वाज आल्सो लॉन्च इन 2015. ये भी जो है आपका 2015 में ही लॉन्च हुआ था. ये आपको ध्यान में रखना होगा. And it is intended to make the process of urbanization smoother, and it aims to ensure that every household has access to a and the mission has now entered its second phase to make cities water secured and provide better amenities for the marginalized. Okay, so basically is also you can say ki Amrut 2.0, and it aims to provide 100% coverage of water supply to all households in around 4,700 urban local bodies. How many? 4,700 urban local bodies. 4,700 urban local bodies. And then there is affordable renting housing complex schemes. Okay, affordable renting housing complex scheme. No need to go in detail. There are obstacles in affordable housing for migrants. Okay, they are also you can say obstacles, that means challenges. So what are the challenges? Now I'm going to discuss one by one. So first is friend, lag in the implementation of housing schemes. क्या जो हाउसिंग स्कीम्स जो इंप्लीमेंट हो रहा है सही से इंप्लीमेंट नहीं हो रहा है. देन एब्सेंस ऑफ also you can say ki WAS facilities. WASH. WAS means water, sanitation and hygiene facilities. Then sudden increase in rents, and then insufficient public toilets. What? Insufficient public toilets. Okay. And also we should know what should be the way of forward. We have discussed obstacles. Now let's come to the way of forward. That is, what are the need of the hour? क्या जरूरत है करने को लेकर के? तो पहला पॉलिसी फ्रेमवर्क फॉर हाउसिंग सेक्टर. हाउसिंग सेक्टर के लिए ऐसा पॉलिसी फ्रेमवर्क हो जिसमें सभी को उसमें जो है आपका शामिल किया जा सके. देन सेकंड, रिड्यूसिंग ऑनर टेनेंट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. जो आपके जो रेंट जो आपका जो रेंट पे रहते हैं और जो उसके ऑनर होता है उसके बीच जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है उसको दूर किया जा सके. एंड देन उसके बाद जो है रीडेवलपिंग स्मॉल एंड मीडियम सिटीज. जो आपके स्मॉल और मीडियम सिटीज को भी डेवलप करने की जरूरत है. एंड देन डेवलपमेंट ऑफ सोशल रेंटिंग हाउसिंग. जो सोशल रेंटिंग हाउसिंग को भी डेवलप करने की जरूरत है. ओके, एंड वी कैन लर्न फ्रॉम द इंटरनेशनल मार्केट ऑल्सो. देयर इज रेंटल वाउचर्स इन चिली, ब्राजील एंड अमेरिका. ओके, इन थाईलैंड देयर इज स्कीम्स लाइक बान मैकोंग. So please keep in the mind, this is very important. And all we have discussed about the, you can say na ki migrant issues related to the housing. Okay, so what should be the conclusion? The working group of Niti Aayog constituted to study internal labor has recommended that the rental housing in the public sector could be expanded through the provision of dormitory accommodation, and it can make public housing affordable and can reduce the conflict between owner and tenants. And action-oriented policies alone can improve the lives of laboring migrants. And such policy initiative will also help India to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 8.8, and which stands for providing a safe and secure working environment for all workers and particularly migrants. So to provide viable alternatives to the informal market, efforts should be made to ensure that states adopt reforms like National Urban Rental Housing Policy and Model Tenancy Act, as the government is best placed to facilitate the production of affordable rent housing at large scale. Housing at large scale. Yes, Siddharth. Any doubt?
सर ये क्राइसिस का मतलब?
सॉरी,
सर क्राइसिस का मतलब सॉल्विंग माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स हाउसिंग क्राइसिस।
ओके। जो आपके माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स जो है, जो एक सिटी से दूसरे सिटी में जाते हैं, म्यूट करिएगा।
सर
ये टॉपिक है कि एक माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स को कैसे दूसरे सिटीज में आपका हाउसिंग से रिलेटेड जो प्रॉब्लम्स है उसको फेस किया जाता है। हो सकता है आप लेट ज्वाइन किए हो इसलिए आपको ये समझ में नहीं आया हो। बेसिकली ड्यू टू कोविड-19 आफ्टर द लॉकडाउन, जो माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स है उनकी एक सबसे बड़ी समस्या क्या थी कि हाउसिंग का समस्या था। वो रेंट जो है पे नहीं कर पाते थे, या वो क्या है अपने पैदल ही चल पड़ते हैं अपने गांवों की ओर। और उससे आपके बहुत सारे जो प्रॉब्लम्स था कि क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हो सकता है, क्या क्या नंबर्स हो सकते हैं, ये सारे मैंने डिस्कस किया है। प्लीज आप रिकॉर्डेड जो वीडियोस होगा उससे गो थ्रू होइएगा। ओके, so I have discussed the first topic, solving migrant workers housing crisis. Anyone, do you have any doubts related to this topic? Whatever we have discussed, is it clear?
So repeat the points of challenges of urbanization.
Okay, so challenges of urbanization. Okay, now I'm going to discuss about the problems, yeah, challenges of urban areas. First, over urbanization. Okay, and then inadequate housing, and next, unsafe and insufficient water supply. Then problems related to, we can say na ki safe drinking waters. Then inefficient and inadequate transport services. And the main problem is pollution. The main problem is pollution. So is it clear, Swagatka?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's move ahead and let's discuss the next topic. And next topic is also very, very important. So you will have to know. And the next topic is related to act now, recast the selection process of election commissions. Okay, election commissioner. So now let's see, this topic is related to general studies, paper 2, polity and governance. So what is the context? Context is, friend, according to the report, Chief Election Commissioner and his Election Commissioner colleague have attended an informal meeting with the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister. So what is the background? So first of all, there is issues. The informal meeting has brought renewed focus on the independence and impartiality of the Election Commission of India. So what is the reason? Because Election Commission of India is a constitutionally mandated body that should maintain its distance from the executive in perception and reality. So what is the meaning of constitutional body? Meaning of constitutional body means if anybody that is mentioned in Indian constitution, that means you can say if any article is related to any body, okay, that is called as constitutional bodies. So Election Commission of India is constitutional bodies, Article 324 to Article 329. What? Article 324 to Article 329 is related to Election Commission of India. And Election Commission of India is a, you can say na ki constitutional body. What? Election Commission of India is a constitutional body. So please keep in the mind. Now, so what is the need to recast the selection process of election commissioner or election commission? We'll have to know. First of all, due to multiple accusations. So what are the due to multiple accusations? We'll have to keep in the mind. Now I'm going to explain. The Election Commission of India has faced multiple accusations of favoring the ruling party. And for instance, the Citizen Commission on Election, you can say on election, chaired by the retired Supreme Court Judge Justice Madan B. Lokur, in its report titled An Inquiry into India's Election System, has highlighted several instances of inaction on the part of the Election Commission of India while conducting the 2019 general election. And the government was also accused of hounding means the hounding election commissioner Ashok Lavasa when he favored taking action against the prime minister for violation of the electoral code of conduct Okay. And the next point is strengthening the institution. So there is a need to strengthening the institution. And changes in the appointment process for election commissioner can strengthen the election commission India's independence. अगर आपका जो इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया के अगर हम लोग बात करते हैं उसे मजबूत करना है तो उसके जो आपका कहते हैं ना कि उसका अपॉइंटमेंट प्रोसेस जो है उसमें चेंजेस लाना पड़ेगा, तो उससे क्या होगा, उसके जो इंडिपेंडेंस है वो आपका स्ट्रांग होगा। न्यूट्रलिटी जो है, तटस्थता जिसे कहते हो, वो भी इंक्रीज होगा। ट्रांसपेरेंसी ऑल्सो इंक्रीज, जो आप कह सकते हो पारदर्शिता भी बढ़ेगा। And the appointment of election commissioner falls within the purview of Article 324 clause, Article 342 clause, okay, 324 clause 2 of the Constitution, and which established the institution also. And then friend, there is no change in old structure. What? No change in old structure. What is the meaning of this? So also you can say pertinently it contains a subject to clause which provide that both the number and tenure of election commissioner shall be subject to the provision of any law made in that behalf by parliament, that means be made by the president. And apart from enacting a law in 1991 which was subsequently amended to enlarge the number of election commissioners from 1 to 3, and parliament has so far enacted any changes to appointment process. Anyone, can you tell me who was the first election commissioner of India?
Sukumar Sen.
Yeah, very good. Sukumar Singh was the first.
Sir, what is pending petition?
Pending petition, it is pending in, you can say, court. Okay, now I will discuss. Yeah, don't worry, I will discuss. I have discussed now, no change in the old structure. Now I will have to discuss the pending, you can say, there is a pending petition, don't worry. Now I'm going to discuss the pending petition, that means the writ petition, and with one pending since 2015. And it is urging the Supreme Court to declare that the current practice of appointment of election commissioner by the center violates Article 14 and also Articles 324 clause 2. It violates Article 14 and also 324 clause 2. And democracy, why? It is a basic feature of the Constitution. And this petition argues for an independent system for the appointment of election commissioner, and as recommended by the previous law commission and various committees report. Okay, so there is a pending petition in the Supreme Court, and pending petition talks about the reforms in the, you can say, appointment of the election commissioner. Okay, now we have discussed the pending petition. Now there is also several recommendations. We'll have to know what are the several recommendations. In 1975, the Justice Trakunde Committee, okay, please keep in mind, Trakunde Committee is related to election reforms, recommended that minister, the Lok Sabha opposition leaders, and the Chief Justice of India, that means there should be a committee for the election commissioner, and in committee there should be Prime Minister, Lok Sabha opposition leader, and the Chief Justice of India. And the fourth report of the Second Administrative Reforms Commission additionally recommended that Law Minister and the Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha be included in such collegiums. That means there should be appointment committees, and in appointment committee there should be Prime Minister, Lok Sabha, opposition leader, Chief Justice of India. But fourth law commissioner, okay, you can say fourth report of the Second Administrative Reforms Commission additionally recommended that there should be Law Minister and the Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha in this committee. Okay, so please keep in mind, this is very important. This is very important, I told you. Now let's discuss what are the function of the Election Commission of India. Anyone, can you tell me what are the function of the Election Commission of India? And Election Commission of India is in frequent news. Okay, so please keep in mind. Anyone, can you tell me what are the function? What are the function of the Election Commission of India?
Sir, it is not responsible for conducting free fair elections.
No, sir, I am asking about functions. I am not asking about the criticism.
Sir,
to notify dates and schedules of election
Yes, very good.
and to distribute the symbols.
Yes, very good.
That's all.
Okay. Uh, Now I'm going to discuss the function. There are various functions. So first of all, you'll have to keep in the mind, conduct the election of the president, vice president, then Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and state legislative assembly. To prepare the electoral roll, to give, you can say, party symbols of the parties. Then, and also you'll have to keep in the mind to, you can say, justify with the model code of conduct. So basically, the election commission is not only responsible for conducting free and fair election, but it also renders a quasi-judicial function between the various political parties, including the ruling government and other parties. And accordingly, the executive cannot be a sole participant in appointment of members of election commission, as it gives unfettered discretion to the ruling party to choose someone whose loyalty to its you can say loyalty to it is ensured, and thereby renders the selection process vulnerable to manipulation. So we have discussed, okay, the functions, and then also please keep in the mind we have discussed the executive rule. So what should be the suggestive measure? What should be the way of forward? That means what should be the, you can say, key changes? So first of all, in a suggestive measure, you can say measures, there is a need of the new committee. That means there is a need to create, या need to formulate, या forming a new committee, okay, forming a new committee. So basically, establishing a multi-institutional bipartisan committee for the fair and transparent selection of election commissioner can enhance the precepts and actual independence of the Election Commission of India. And similar to a procedure is already the Chief Information Commissioner, the Lokpal, the Central Vigilance Commissioner, and the Director of the Central Bureau of Investigation. And then quasi-judicial nature of Election Commission of India's function make it especially important that the appointment process conform to the strictest democratic principles. Law enacted by the Parliament should do well to preempt judicial structures by going ahead and formulating a law that establishes a multi-institutional bipartisan collegium to select a election commissioner. Okay. So basically, they are forming a new committee, and Election Commission of India should work on the basis of Constitution. Okay, Constitution. Then also you can say need freedom of, because Election Commission of India is constitutional bodies, so they should work as a, you can say constitutional bodies. Okay, और उसके ऊपर जब कोई भी आप कह सकते हो कि उसके ऊपर एग्जीक्यूटिव्स का प्रेशर नहीं होना चाहिए. ओके, फ्री फ्रॉम द एग्जीक्यूटिव्स. एंड ऑल्सो इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया जो हम लोग कह सकते हैं जो है उसको क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, ये क्या कहते हैं कि जो एक दूसरे को फेवर नहीं करना चाहिए. ओके, इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया शुड डू वर्क ऑन द वैल्यू ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, constitutional values. So please keep in the mind. So we have discussed about the you can say act. Now recast the selection process of election commission, and you'll have to keep in the mind Election Commission of India, because Election Commission of India is very, very important, and maybe UPSC may ask. So please keep in the mind who is the election commissioner. We have discussed the first election commissioner was Sukumar Sen. Okay, and also part 15 of the Constitution of India talks about the Election Commission of India, and Article 324 to 329, okay, of the Constitution deals with the powers and function, tenure, eligibility of the Election Commission of India. And Article 324, superintendence, direction and controls of election to be vested in Election Commission. So you'll have to go through it, Article 324 to 329, okay, and part 15, because this is very, very important. And then there is also structure of the commission and what is the procedure of removal. So please go through you can say Election Commission of India's topic. This is very, very important. Now let's move ahead and let's discuss a new topic, and this is very, very important. So what is the topic? So topic is reaping India's demographic dividend. What? Reaping India's demographic dividend. Okay. Reaping India's demographic dividend. So this topic is related to polity and governance, society, also economic and geography. Okay. What is the context? Context is, friend, nation growth requires the productive contribution of all segments of society, and particularly the children and the youth, which can yield long-term returns in terms of the high productivity of economically active population till they enter the elderly cohort. Okay, please keep in the mind, this is very, very important. So what is the analysis portion of this topic? We should know now, okay, what is the meaning of the demographic dividend. We should know what is the meaning of demographic dividend. Anyone, can you tell me what is the meaning of the demographic dividend? क्या बता सकते हो कि डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड जननकीय लाभांश से हिंदी में कहते हैं, क्या होता है? कोई भी? नो वन? कैसे चलेगा? कैसे? You will have to tell me what is the meaning of demographic dividend. Try to give the answer. Try to participate. Otherwise, I will go with you can say personally, and I will ask what is the meaning of demographic dividend. Please tell me what is the meaning of demographic dividend. Anyone, please raise your hand.
I can't know, sir.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you. Don't worry. So what is the meaning of demographic dividend? I'm going to tell you in the single line. Demographic dividend refers to the growth in an economy that is the result of a change in the age structure of a country's population. Age structure of a country's population. So what is the overall scenario in India? Basically, friends, these population parameters indicates the availability of demographic dividends in India, and which started in 2005-6 and will last till 2055 to 2056. So it was started in 2005 and 6. It will maintain also, you can say 2055 to 56, because after 2055 or 56 India's population जो होगा उसमें एल्डर्स के जो सीनियर सिटीजन के जो नंबर्स होंगे वो आपके ज्यादा होंगे. And however, according to economic survey 2018-19, India's demographic dividend will peak around 2041. Will peak around 2041. Okay. And when the share of working age, that means 20 to 59, working age means 20 to 59. Okay, 20 to 59. Okay, 20 to 59 years, the population is expected to hit 59%. To hit 59%. Okay, 59%. So what is the important facts about the India? Basically, friends, India has 62.5% of its population in the age group of 15 to 59. Okay, and which is increasing and will be at the peak around 2036, thereby reaching up to approximately 65%. Okay, 65%. So please keep in the mind. And now let's move ahead and let's discuss what is the analysis portion of this topic. Okay, and at present, if you'll discuss about the demographic dividend, so as you know, there is a decline in fertility according to National Family Health Survey 5. Now India's fertility is less than 2. Okay, that means less than 2.1. Okay, and this is the challenge for the India. This is challenge for the upcoming time for the India. Okay, and there is a declining trend in fertility. So the change in age structure is typically by a decline in fertility and mortality rates. And as of fertility decline, the share of the young population falls and that of the older dependents population rises. And if the fertility decline is rapid, the increase in the population of working age is substantial, yielding the demographic dividend. And then the window of demographic opportunity. What are the window of demographic opportunities? So please keep in the mind, this is very, very important. That means the demographic dividend is an opportunity for India. How? Let's discuss. And friends, the smaller share of children in the population enables higher investment per child, and therefore the future entrants in the labor force can have better productivity and thus boost income. And with time, the share of the older population rises and that of the working age population begins to fall, and enhance the dividend is available for some time. Then there is also, you can say, facts related to demographic transition. What are the facts related to the demographic transition? Let's discuss. With the falling fertility, currently you can say less than 2.0, oh yeah, 2.0. A rising median age group, 24 years in 2011 and 29 years now, and expected to be 36 years by 2036. And a falling dependency ratio, that means expected to decrease from 65% to 54% in the coming decade, okay, and taking 50 to 59 years as the working age population. And India is in the middle of demographic transition. At present, India is in the middle of demographic transition. Average age is increasing. Then also you can say numbers of elders person is increasing. Okay, so please keep in the mind, this is very, very important fact. Now, we should know now what are the benefits from the demographic dividend. What are the benefits of the demographic dividend? Anyone, could you tell me? What are the benefits of the demographic dividend?
Increase workforce,
Okay, very good.
rise in employment,
Sir, economic growth. Is it correct?
Okay, yeah, okay.
we can also increase our workforce,
Yeah, you told us.
rise in women's workforce,
Okay, yes, of course. Okay, now I'm going to tell you, please keep in the mind. First, economic growth. Better economic growth is brought about by increased economic activities due to a higher working age population and lower dependent population, and thereby increasing labor force along with the rising in women workforce. Okay, workforce. So basically, so first, what will the first economic growth? Economic growth, please keep in the mind. Okay, and then second, policy framing. Second, policy framing. Policy framing. Okay, so effective policy making by strictly implementing schemes and programs for the benefit of the people. Then rise in employment. Rise in employment. Rise in employment. Okay, and a higher employment seeking population will lead to the rapid increase of industrialization and urbanization. Then increased workforce. Increased workforce. Okay, increased workforce. So the working age population rising to 65% will increase the workforce. Then swelling labor force. Swelling labor force. Swelling labor force. So India's labor force is swelling as its baby boomers reach working age, and it should boost India's growth. That effective diversion of resources. What? Effective diversions. Effective diversion of resources. Effective diversion of resources. So India's population has the potential to divert resources from spending on irrelevant things to investing in physical and human infrastructure. Then rise in women workforce. Rise in women workforce, rise in women workforce, please keep in the mind. And EG accumulation. So the fourth is that working age also happens to be the prime years for savings, and which is key to the accumulation of capitals and technological innovations. Okay, and but there's also challenges posed by the demographic dividends. Which types of challenges? Can you tell me which types of challenges? Okay, now I'm going to discuss. So, however, the realization of the benefits of potential demographic dividend is not automatic and thus present many challenges. Without proper policies, the increase in the working age population may lead to rising unemployment, fueling economics, social risk, criminalizations. Okay, you can say ki, also you can say there are various challenges. So we have discussed rising unemployment, fueling economics, social risk, illegal activities may increase. Okay, and so this calls for forward-looking policies incorporating population dynamics, education and skills, healthcare, gender sensitivity, and providing rights and choices to the younger generation. So what should be the way forward for, you can say, looking policies? So we can learn from the Asian nation. Okay, there are various examples like Singapore, Taiwan, South Korea. And then also, friends, we'll have to provide the, you can say, skill training. Okay, we'll have to create a new infrastructure. We'll have to create new types of employment. Okay, we'll have to use the demographic dividend of India. So please keep in the mind. So we have discussed reaping India's demographic dividend. Is it clear, or anyone? Do you have any doubt? Anyone? Okay. Clear. Okay, Subhadra. Now let's move ahead and let's discuss a new topic, and that is seventh schedule affecting the delivery of public goods. Seventh schedule affecting the delivery of public goods. So this topic is related to polity and governance. What is the context? In the general terms, the public good is something, okay, that must be delivered by the government. Since they are layers in our three-tiered structure of the governance, and Article 246 of the Indian Constitution, Article 246 of the Indian Constitution mention three lists in seventh schedule: union list, state list, and concurrent list. Okay, and thereby affecting the delivery of public goods. So what is the background? The provision relating to power sharing can be linked to historical, okay, antecedents, colonial legislation, as well as the socio-political context at the time of the wrapping of the Indian Constitution. And the measures were undertaken by the British Crown after it took over from the East India Company and post 1857, formally institutionalizing many aspects of the federal principle. So what is the constitutional backing? Basically, friends, the Constitution of India provides a scheme for demarcation of powers through three lists in the seventh schedule under Article 246. And friends, the seventh schedule is thus indicative of the spirit of cooperation between the union and states, and also it represents a limitation to the powers of both center and states. And such a limitation is essential to ensure that the different institutional layers in a federation can function autonomously in their respective systems of influence. So basically, in Indian Constitution, seventh schedule, okay, seventh schedule talks about the three lists. We have discussed the union list, we have discussed the state list, then also there is a concurrent list. Okay, concurrent list. Please keep in mind which article? 246, which schedule? Seventh schedule of Indian Constitution. Seventh schedule of Indian Constitution. So what are the three lists? So we can see here the union list. Okay, in a union list, that means the parliament can create a law, okay, on union list, and under this subject of national importance such as foreign affairs, railways, banking, defenses are included. And a state list, you can say a state can, okay, formulate a law, but in the emergency, okay, but in emergency, there is a various provision. You will study this in polity section. There is a various provision when Parliament can formulate a law on state subjects. That means during emergency, during also you can say if there will be request from the Rajya Sabha, okay, and also if you can say request from the 2 or more states, so there is various provisions, okay. Basically, state list means a state can formulate on law, okay, such as public order, police, public health, sanitation, betting and gambling and others. And concurrent list, both center and union can formulate a law, okay. Just for example, education, population control, family planning, forest, criminal law, socio-economic planning, electricities, marriage and divorce and others. So please keep in the mind, this is very, very important. Okay, we should also know, you can say how many provision in a union list, okay, and also then in provinces list, that means state list, and then in concurrent list. So now let's discuss. Now I'm going to tell you, please keep in the mind, first of all, let's talk about the union list. Let's talk about the union list, because union list is very, very important. So basically the list has at present 100 subjects and originally 97 subjects. So at present 100 and originally 97 states, okay, in union list. And then friends, in state list there is a 61 subject at present and originally 66, okay. In concurrent list there is originally 47 and at present 52, okay. You can say laws, yeah, 52 subjects comes under the concurrent list, okay, concurrent list. And also there is residuary powers. If any you can say issues, yeah, any law, any topic which is not part of these lists, that means 3 important lists. So if there will be a topic and there will need to create a law, so Parliament can create a law on residuary powers, okay, according to Article 248, according to Article 248. So this is very, very important. So we have discussed about the concurrent list, union list, state list. So what are the rationale behind the list system contained in the 7th schedule? Okay. So the Joint Committee report of 1934 that preceded the enactment of the Government of India Act 1935, Government of India Act 1935, explain the rationale for the distribution of legislative power as an essential feature of provincial autonomy, and as being itself the meaning of defining its ambit. And for this purpose, an unprecedented, exhaustive statutory allocation was considered necessary. And further, it was also felt that such a scheme would reduce disputes over the scope of central state jurisdiction. And however, the jurisdiction of legislative powers reflects the dominance of the Parliament over the state legislature. So how is it affecting the delivery of public goods? That means how 7th schedule is affecting the delivery of public goods. Basically, friends, items have moved from the state list to the concurrent list, and from the concurrent list to the union list, rather than progressing towards decentralization of power. And every public good is optimally delivered at a certain level of government, and delivery becomes suboptimal both above that level and below that level. And most public goods people will think of are efficiently delivered at the local government level and not the union or state level. And most public goods are efficiently delivered at the local government level, not union or state level. We have discussed. And citizens increasingly demand efficient delivery of such public goods, but without delegation of funds, functions and functionaries presently left to the discretion of state governments, local government are unable to respond. So there is efforts are taken to reform the 7th schedule. What should be the efforts? Basically, friends, Raj Mandar Committee. Okay, Raj Mandar Committee related to center-state relation. Please keep in the mind, Raj Mannar Committee. Okay, Mannar Committee, formerly known as the Central State Relation Inquiry Committee, suggested the constitution of a high power commission to examine the entries of list 1 and the list 3 in the 7th schedule to the constitution and suggest a redistribution of the entries. And then Bidas was the former chief minister of Odisha. Okay, please keep in the mind what Bidas. Okay, so Bidas, former chief minister of Odisha, stated the need for having general principle involving the selection of items under union, concurrent, and state list, and such principle will help us to understand the list much better. And however, it was not accepted. And however, in the 1983 Sarkaria Commission, this is also related to Central State Relation. Okay, Sarkaria Commission. Under the 1983 Sarkaria Commission and the 2002 National Commission to review the working of the Constitution avoided these issues. And such limited movements have reflected greater centralization, such as in 1976. Then N.K. Singh, chairman of the 15th Finance Commission, who N.K. Singh. Okay, N.K. Singh, 15th chairman of the 15th Finance Commission, has also often made this point in addition to scrutiny of Article 282, interstate relation. Okay, and friends, what should be the, you can say we are forward, for the sake of better governance, this is not an issue that should be ducked, and the basic structure, doctrine does not stand in the way, but this should be taken care of with utmost importance. So we have discussed this topic, 7th schedule and affecting the delivery of public goods. जो न्यू टॉपिक है वो भी माइग्रेशन से रिलेटेड है. आप देखोगे कि हाउ माइग्रेशन इज चैलेंज टू इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी. अब देखो माइग्रेशन जो टॉपिक है ये आपका ज्योग्राफी का टॉपिक है, सोसाइटी का टॉपिक है, लेकिन ये अब इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी से भी आपका जुड़ा हुआ है. ओके, इट्स रिलेटेड टू इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी ऑल्सो. And now let's move ahead and let's discuss how this topic is related to internal security. Basically, friends, first of all, we should know what are the recent context. So in recent years, friend, migration has made its way to the forefront of the security agenda of several sides. Okay, and the perception of immigration as a threat to security has developed alongside the rapid increase in number of immigrants worldwide. So we should know now what is the meaning of migration. We have discussed the meaning of migration. Okay, so migration is nothing but a simple movement of people from one place to another to settle permanently or temporarily in new location. Okay, and people can migrate individually, in family units, or large groups, depending upon the purpose and nature of migration. And friends, also migrants can be classified into 3 types. So now I'm going to discuss about the first is nomadic. Okay, I will discuss with the detail, don't worry. Nomadic, then permanent and temporary migration. Second, permanent and temporary migration. Okay, temporary migration. And then third is forced migration, forced migration or displacement or demographic engineering. Okay, also we can say forced migration, and also we can say displacement or demographic engineering. So first of all, let's see what is the meaning of nomadic. In nomadic migration, people migrate not for permanent settlement but mainly in search of food, water, then also you can say shelter and better living conditions for both humans and animals. Sorry. And this type of migration is more prevalent in the Himalayan region and is generally done by the people whose livelihood depends on rearing cattle as they require constant fresh grazing land. Okay, so please keep in the mind. So we have discussed about the nomadic migration. So what is the meaning of nomadic? Nomadic migration means people migrate not for permanent settlement, but mainly in search of food, water, shelter, and better living condition for both human and animals. And this is more prevalent in Himalayan region. And then second is permanent temporary migration. So permanent migration is done with an intention to shift the permanent residence of the migrant to a new country and possibly obtaining the country citizenship, or within the country in different state, or also you can say within the state. And in contrast, temporary migration is limited to a time period, perhaps until the end of a work contract or particular program of study. And however, both the types of migrants, that means permanent migrants and temporary migrants, significantly impact the economy and society of the you can say a country and also the countries of origin. And then next is forced migration or displacement or demographic engineering. So forced migration is involuntarily and generally conflict induced, that means caused by humans, or disaster, include caused due to natural calamity. And however, the concept of demographic engineering is a deliberate act of the state manipulating population figures for political, ideological, strategic, and economic reason. Now, let's come to the main point of this topic: how migration is a threat to internal security. How migration is a threat to internal security, we'll have to discuss. So first, manipulation of migrants. You can see here, key manipulation of migrants. What is the meaning of this? Migration is also seen worldwide with major incidents of refugee movements due to circumstances of violence, persecutions, or environmental disasters. And the image of refugee being vulnerable to exploitation by terrorist group could run the risk of migrants being termed as terrorists themselves. And this could also be a part of the agenda of this terrorist organization to generate xenophobic sentiments to further their disease also divisive objectives. Then there is a state-centric threat. So what is the meaning of state-centric threat? Let's discuss. The threats to the state could be direct or indirect. Okay, so direct threats are associated with the possibility of radicalization of refugee or influx of terrorists through refugee movements across border. On the other hand, indirect threats are posed by the threats to opportunities or grievances in receiving population with regard to the distribution and sharing of resources. Distribution and sharing of resources. Okay. And then classes due to insecurity. So the influx of migrants, especially mass immigration in the northeastern states, has led to the indigenous people feeling overwhelmed with a change in demographic profile of the state. And hence, the major concern in terms of national security pertaining to the economic and social security of the region. क्या हो सकता है? और सुरक्षा की जो भावना होगी तो उससे तो क्लासेस हो ही सकता है. नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स में ऐसे होते हैं. देन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, जो आपके इंटरेस्ट जो होगा उसमें भी आपका कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो सकते हैं. बेसिकली ना कि विथ lack of economic opportunities and prevailing sense of insecurity in the local population, there are higher chances of instability arising out of fear. जो महाराष्ट्र में हुआ था, जो महाराष्ट्र नवनिर्माण सेना ने किया था बिहारी लोगों के खिलाफ, है ना. And poverty and deprivation can lead to crimes in disparate circumstances, and they also are more vulnerable to terror outfits that can recruit them by promising better prospects and income. Then there is a chance to, you can say, there will be also we can say disturbance in law and order. So the rule of law and integrity of the country are undermined by the illegal migrants who are engaged in illegal and anti-national activities, such as entering the countries fraudulently, acquiring identity cards, exercising voting rights in India, resorting to trans-border smuggling and other crimes. Then there will be chance to rise in militancy. Sorry. So the persistent attacks against the Muslim perceived as illegal migrants in Assam has given way to radicalization within certain section of the Muslim community, and the formation of militant organizations such as the Muslim United Liberation Tigers of Assam, that means ki Multa, is a threat to national security also, we can say. So what should be measures to tackle migration? So first, there is a need of a international organization for migration. क्या होना चाहिए आपका? एक इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होना चाहिए, इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फॉर माइग्रेशन, इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, because it provides guidelines to the government to help them tackle the issues associated with migration. One of the area of its research is border management assistance, capacity building, and identity management. Then a long-term strategy for better management is the provision of development assistance to countries of origin to address the, you can say, the dearth of economic opportunities, which act as the push factor. Then there should be a strict border management. What is strict border management? A strict border management. A strict border management. Okay, please keep in the mind, strict border management. So better border management should be done, and construction of fences close to the zero line with Bangladesh should be completed as early as possible. Then improved surveillance system, improved surveillance, okay, system, please keep in the mind. So a strong surveillance system should be installed with modern and upgraded technological equipment. And then there should be border fencing. What? Border fencing. Border fencing. Okay, there should be border fencing. So well-built boundary to stop infiltration of the people from the border, and the construction of the joint checkpost along with other infrastructure should be encouraged. Strengthening domestic laws, जो डोमेस्टिक लॉज है उसको भी आपको क्या करना है, उसको मजबूत करना है. स्ट्रेंथनिंग डोमेस्टिक लॉज टू मैनेज फॉरेन क्रिमिनल्स इफेक्टिवली. Then meaningful engagement with neighboring countries, that means ki meaningful engagement with neighboring country. Okay, neighboring countries, so please keep in the mind neighboring countries. Neighboring countries, that means ki meaningful engagement with neighboring nations and solicit its cooperation in resolving all outstanding issues, so as to better manage the mutual borders. Okay, so these are the measures to tackle migration. And also, friends, we can see what should be the way of forward. Migration as a phenomenon cannot be controlled. However, it can be regulated through the issue of migrant identity and the enactment, also you can say enactment of provisions discouraging illegal migration, and the principle, okay, of international origin of migrants regarding border management could be adopted for digitization and computerization of records of migration at the border areas. And moreover, the crux of resources necessity, okay, also you can say also you can say there is a crux of resources necessities, that means ki bilateral or multilateral agreements to solve the issue amicably. And issues of violence or economic deprivation can be addressed by providing relief to the country by international lending association like the World Bank. Then role of civil society organization in society becomes important in the context of threat perception and more welcoming stance towards immigrants. And while national security is on the top of country's agenda, there also needs to be balanced effort at realizing human security for providing assistance to the migrants themselves, and the condition of war, persecution of economic deprivation in their source countries have to be addressed to ensure their development and protection of their human rights, which are threatened in case of illegal migrants and dire condition of stay in refugee camps. Okay, so we have discussed about how migration is challenged to internal security. I hope this topic will be clear. Anyone, do you have any doubts, or is it clear? Please tell me. Any doubts? Okay, so now let's move ahead and let's discuss a new topic. Okay, so the new topic is also very, very important, related to telecom sector and its issues. Okay, so telecom sector and its issues, this is very, very important. Now let's discuss what is the fact. First of all, yeah, you can see telecom sector and its issues. Okay, so why this topic is important, and this topic is related to the General Studies Paper 3 Economy. So context is the board of Vodafone Idea has approved the conversion of part of their liability or to the governments into equity, and thus roughly 16,000 crore of the interest on the deferred spectrum and adjusted gross revenue liability will now be converted to government equity, and making it also you can say making it the single largest stakeholder, owning 35.8% of entity. So what is the background? Telecom sector has become an increasingly important basic industries which bodes well for its future prospects and continued growth. And the continuing advances in high-speed mobile services and internet connectivity between devices keep driving innovation and competition within the sector, and it can play an important role in the growth of India. Okay, now let's discuss the evolution of the telecom sector in India. Evolution. What are the, you can say, facts? So evolution, telecom sector in India. Indian telecom sector is more than 165 years old. Do you know? More than 165 years old. Telecommunication was first introduced in India in 1851. And when the first operational landlines were laid by the government near Kolkata. Okay, near Kolkata. And although telephone services were formally introduced in India much later in 1881. Formally, okay, introduced in India 1881. And the Indian telecom sector was entirely under government ownership until 1984. 1984, it was under the government of India. Okay, government of India. Sorry. When the private sector was allowed in term telecommunication, equipment manufacturing only, and the actual evolution of the industry started after the government separated the Department of Post and Telegraph in 1985 and setting the Department of Post and Department of Telecommunication. Department of Telecommunication in 1985. And India is currently world's second largest telecommunication market and has registered a strong growth in past decade and a half with a subscriber base of 1.20 billion. 1.20 billion subscriber. Okay. And the liberal and reformist policies of the government of India have been instrumental along with the strong consumer demand in the rapid growth in the Indian telecom sector, where key policies are enhancing the use of internet in various sectors, leading to growth of telecom sector like National Optical Fiber Mission, National Digital Communication Policies 2018, then PM Wani scheme. Okay. Now let's discuss the FDI in telecom sector. This is important. Yes, FDI in telecom sector, foreign direct investment in telecom sector. In October 2021, the government notified 100% FDI, 100% FDI in telecom sector via the automatic route from the previous 49% in the telecommunication sector. Basically, there are two types of routes of FDI. Automatic sector, that means no need to take clearance from the you can say na ki SEBI or Government of India. Okay, and there is a government route. In a government route, you will have to take permission and you will have to take clearance. Okay, an FDI of up to 100% is permitted for infrastructure providers offering dark fiber, electronic mail, and voicemail. And the deregulation of FDI norms has made the sector one of the fastest growing and a top 5 employment opportunity generator in the country. And the telecom sector is the third largest sector in terms of FDI inflow, contributing 7.1% of FDI inflow in India. Basically, 7.1% of total FDI in telecom sector. And the telecom sector lies within the sector of information and communication technology. Is made up of all communication, that means telephone companies and internet service providers, and play the crucial role in the evolution of mobile communication and the information society. So why is there a need to strengthen the telecom sector? You will have to keep in the mind why is there a need to strengthen the telecom sector. So you can see, first of all, also we can say na ki employment creation. So first we have discussed now top 5 employment creation, okay, employment provider in India. So first, employment creation. Okay, employment creation. So the sector contributes 2.2 million direct employment and 1.8 million indirect employment jobs. GDP growth. So the sector is expected to contribute 8% to India's GDP in 2022 from 6.5% currently. GDP growth 8%. Okay, so this is very, very important. Education. COVID-19 lockdown has further kicked up the dependence on internet for education and was able to reach for our ends to connect digitally and provide education. Payment system. The sector has been exponential growth in terms of digital payment system through UPI, Unified Payment Interface, online net banking, and which has further ignited the growth of telecom sector in India by making internet infrastructure self-reliant and robust and secure. For e-governance, okay, then for ease of living, then for electronic and mobile manufacturing, for telemedicine, for manufacturing sectors, and then for services sector. So there are lots of points. Okay, yeah, we should know what are the challenges faced by the telecom sector. So you can see first, poor financial health of the telecom sector. Poor financial health. So gross revenue has dropped drastically in this sector, having a sound number of non-performing assets and lack of funds for the development through the recent Supreme Court judgment has paved the way towards its development. Limited spectrum availability. Okay, so available spectrum is less, and the delay in spectrum application for 5G technology has delayed the development of this sector. Hence, it is imperative spectrum auctioning at a sustainable price is the need of the hour. Then higher cost of spectrum auction, then high competition and tariff war. Okay, high competition and tariff war. Then there is a lack of telecom infrastructure in semi-rural and rural areas. Then government policies against this sector. So due to the non-conducive environment resulting from government policies and regulation, rollout of data-based products and services are hampering the progress of telecom sectors. Okay, and then low broadband penetration. Low broadband penetration in the country is a matter of concern, and the government needs to do a lot work in the field to go up in the global ladder. New technology decreases the revenue. So various applications such as WhatsApp, Ola, Uber do not need permission or sign a pact with a telecommunication company, which leads to decrease in revenue of the telecom sector. Then license fee. the license fee of 8% of the adjusted gross revenue, including 5% as a universal services levy, is one of the highest in the world. So what should be the way forward? There should be investment, there should be lower license fee, focus on research and development, focus on national optical fiber mission. Then there is a need to reduce for spectrum auction. There should be infrastructure sharing, better traffic, also you can see better tariff pricing mechanism, then ease of doing businesses, and roll out of newer technology. Okay, so we have discussed about the telecom sector. So this is very, very important for your upcoming examination. Okay, so there's lots of fact we have discussed. So this is all about for today class, and I have you can say like mention everything related to last week in my slides. So please go through the slides and you will get various topics, okay, related to prelims. We have discussed topics related to the mains, important topics, and topics related to prelims, बस you'll have to go through it. आपको पढ़ना होगा, जैसे कि आपको वीर बाल दिवस न्यूज में था, देन जो उसके बाद NCPCR न्यूज में था, नेशनल कमीशन फॉर प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ चाइल्ड राइट, देन रिकर्सल ऑफ जजेस जो न्यूज में था, उसको गो थ्रू होकर के देखिएगा. पॉल्यूशन ऑफ जो पेटेंट्स जो है POP वो न्यूज में था. देन उसके बाद 100 years ऑफ इंसुलिन यूज न्यूज में था. तो सबको देखिएगा. ये मैंने जो है औरंग जो नेशनल पार्क का साइज जो इंक्रीज किया गया है वो भी न्यूज में था. सारे चीज मैंने कवर अप किया हुआ है. बस आपको क्या करना है, जो स्लाइड्स है जो आपको शेयर होगा आपको मिल जाएगा, उसके थ्रू गो थ्रू होना है. एंड इफ यू फेस एनी प्रॉब्लम, ओके, फील फ्री टू connect me, feel free to talk to me, feel free to send me the message. Okay, and this is all about for today class. So